What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on my channel. In this video today, we're going to specifically be talking about the stock BA or Boeing. Really wanted to come on before the weekend is over and really get this video out, kind of discussing my thoughts behind Boeing. As many of you guys know, they had a crash in Ethiopia. One of their planes went down, and now this is the second Boeing airplane that has recently crashed, killing innocent civilians. So their stock has gotten crushed over the past week. So we're going to be looking at the stock. We're going to walk you guys through the thought process here and kind of some ideas as far as how we will be playing this going into next week. So let's jump into it. So as you guys can see here, we are looking at the stock Boeing. All right, so kind of walk you guys through this. If you're not familiar, definitely look up the most recent news on Boeing. If you're not familiar, they had an airplane crash in Ethiopia. I think it killed about 157 people, or the number was definitely high, right? So a lot of casualties in this airplane crash. Now, it appears to be more of a software issue with the plane that it caused the crash. You can look more into it. I believe it has to do something with some sensor that controls the engines. So it's really kind of a software issue that is going on with this Boeing airplane. So a lot of bad news surrounding the stock. It had recently crashed from about 420 all the way down to a low of 365 within one day, and then it kind of bounced back, sold back off. So what I want to talk to you guys about is this. A lot of times we're going to see things like this, where a stock has this really negative news and then the company or the stock price thereafter kind of crashes or declines a significant amount. Now, before we get into Boeing, I want to take a look at Johnson & Johnson. Why are we going to take a look at Johnson & Johnson? How do they have any relationship to Boeing? They don't. They have zero relationship to Boeing. But it wasn't too long ago that Johnson & Johnson stock had a very similar scenario. Okay, so we're going to go over to Johnson & Johnson, which is the ticker symbol J&J. All right, so here we are. Look at this big drop from Johnson & Johnson. You see this from 148 all the way down to a low of 121. Right? Big decline from 148 all the way down to a low of 120. That's a really big decline in their stock price. And then you can see from there on after it kind of trickled all the way back up. So if you're not familiar with this play on Johnson & Johnson, this was the news catalyst that Johnson & Johnson's baby powder had asbestos in it, or some type of carcinogenic, chemical or material within their baby powder that was causing women to potentially have ovarian cancer, or causing some type of cancer with women using this, formula, their baby powder, okay? So there was news break that Johnson & Johnson's baby powder was causing cancer for women using the product. And then there was a lawsuit and so on and so forth. We're not going to go into all the details, but think about it. Johnson & Johnson, news breaks, baby powder causing women to have cancer. That's terrible. That is really, really bad news. And you can see the stock price got crushed. But what happened shortly after? The stock ended up bouncing. But if you think about it, shouldn't news like Johnson & Johnson's baby powder causing women to have cancer really annihilate the company? I mean, who would want to buy a company after they literally come out and the news is saying that their products are causing cancer? Why on earth would anybody want to continue investing in a company like that? Right? It would, why? Okay? But that's just it. Johnson & Johnson's baby powder is only one product. That is just one product out of their many different lines of products that they sell and generate revenue and profits from. Kind of like Boeing. Boeing's 737 MAX airplane is only a small portion of their business, okay? Right? It's really bad that their airplanes are crashing and things like that and people are getting killed, right? It's not good. Hence why we have seen the stock price on Boeing get annihilated these past couple days. But I strongly feel that we're going to be in somewhat of a same scenario and same situation in Johnson & Johnson stock, where the stock had gotten crushed. And once the news kind of settles and the dust clears, things are going to be back to normal, back to business as usual. And I believe we're going to start seeing Boeing's stock price increase. Okay, so let's take a look at the technical side here. The technical side points to a buy for sure, right? Going based on a simple right? Simple process of supply and demand. Up here was a supply where people started selling the stock and then the news hit and it crashes more. But down in this location is a buyer's location, all right? Something important to pay attention to as well is the volume. Let's zoom in here on this volume. So we can see, right? Look at the strong selling volume. Strong selling volume, the stock was going down, right? Look at this day of selling volume. You can see the sell volume decreases, and then the following day after, massive spike in buying volume. And you can see the bottom of these candles are starting to provide lower wicks, just above the 200 moving average. So I do believe from a technical side, right, technical trading side, we are at a support level or a demand level where we can see buyers starting to come in. Secondly, within the market, 90% of the time, a stock's gap will fill itself. So not only that, we have this gap fill, right? You see this gap in the chart from their past earnings. Stock price has declined far enough to fill that gap, as 90% of the gaps in stocks and in the market get filled at some point in time. We can see that the gap has filled itself. Now that we have a gap fill, we are back down into a demand area and a buyer's location. How do we also know we're in a buyer's location? Well, look at the volume spike here on the day that it broke out on earnings, okay? So fresh breakout means new buyers, right? That's a buy, breakout, and where are we holding support? Right there. We're holding support right where we should. So this is a good sign that Boeing could potentially be basing out and looking for a move back up. So going into next week, you can be sure that we're probably going to be following Boeing stock long. So this is a mix of technical analysis along with a little bit of fundamental analysis. Okay, Boeing's airplanes coming crashing down. That's one line of business that they have. They have plenty of other lines of business where they're bringing in money, okay? So when you think about how many lines of business they have, you mix it with the technicals, I believe we could be looking at a great buying opportunity for Boeing. So if you guys follow Boeing, aren't interested in the stock, definitely keep an eye on it throughout this next week because things could get a little bit interesting here with Boeing. So I want to come out, get this video out here before the end of the weekend so you guys can be prepared coming Monday morning. So I hope you guys like the video. Thanks again thank you again for tuning in. As always, if you can, give us a thumbs up, like the video, share it, subscribe it to your friends, your family, your mom, your dad. We would appreciate it. Other than that, guys, have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys come Monday morning. Everybody, take care.